Hello and welcome to this video on reactions of acids. The aim of this video is for you to be able to recall the 4 general equations of acids that you've probably covered at Key Stage 3. So let's get started. The first reaction that you might have done is you might have reacted some acid with a metal in a test tube. Now when you did this experiment, okay, you would have seen some bubbles. Okay, and the bubbles is hydrogen gas being produced. Now the other product that we would have had is we would have also had some salt being made. Okay, so we end up with salt and hydrogen being produced. Now, when you did this experiment, you may have even tested for the hydrogen gas. Okay, and it's a test that we call the Splint Test. And you put that lit splint to the end of the test tube and you get a squeaky pop for the hydrogen. Now, lots of people like to call it the squeaky pop test. It's not a squeaky pop test, okay, because you don't go up to your test tube and go pop. Okay, you put a lit splint to the end of the test tube, so it's called the lit splint test. Okay, again, this experiment is affectionately known as the MASH equation. Okay, metal and acid goes to salt and hydrogen. So that's number 1. Okay, second one. Now all of these have the word acid in them. The thing that changes is what we react it with. So the second one that you might have reacted something with is a metal hydroxide. Now what this one produces is it produces a salt. Again, salt is made in every single one of these reactions, and this also produces water. Now, when we look at this experiment, you would expect to see no effervescence because no gas is produced. Okay, it's quite a boring experiment really. You add them together and not a lot happens. The only way that you would know that something happens is if you used an indicator, because this is a neutralization reaction. The third reaction that you might have looked at is very, very similar to this one. It's where you have an acid and a metal oxide, and what we end up with is a salt, because every single one of these reactions ends up with a salt, and also water. So this reaction is very, very similar to this one. Okay. Reaction number 4, the last one that you might have done. Okay, you probably would have taken an acid and maybe added it to a powder. And that powder would have been a metal carbonate. And when you did that reaction, you probably saw some effervescence, which means a gas is being produced. But this also produces salt, as with every other reaction, and water. So there must be a third product. Now the third product comes from sort of the carbonate part of this compound, and it's carbon dioxide. So when you're thinking about this reaction, what you want to remember is over here we've got carbonate, so as part of our products we have carbon dioxide. So these are the 4 equations that you need to be able to recall and apply. So these are known as the general equations. So obviously as part of chemistry what you're going to do is you're going to use and apply these equations when you're given the different chemicals. Now before I do that, what I'm going to do in my next video is that I'm going to talk through how to name these salts. Okay, because there is a way of doing that. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the chemicals involved and how we name these salts. So tune in for the next video to check that one out. So as always, thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. That'd be awesome. I do appreciate your support. Okay, but I'll catch you in the next video where we'll talk a little bit about salts.